Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone.
It's been a while. Joe forgot who we are and what we're doing.
No, I'm hoarse. Okay, welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. I don't know. There's a lot of pollen in the air. Phlegmy morning, whatever you want to say.
After the storm yesterday, there's a lot of pollen out there.
Okay, I promise the show's not going to be about this, but I just have to say, Brandon, the Cubs have, as we speak now, the Cubs have won 10 games in a row. They're in first place. They're unstoppable. It's giving me 2016 vibes.
Right. Come on. The Cubs are going to do great because America's on fire.
Right. In 2016 was not a good year for the country, and then all of a sudden the Cubs win the World Series. So, I mean, I guess that's the trade-off for me. I get a good season, and the country suffers. So
you get to enjoy your baseball.
Okay. Hey, but anyway, this is going to be good. Brandon, here we go. Coyote versus Acme is finally coming out. Folks, please go watch the trailer. As a matter of fact, if you're not listening to this live, or if you are listening live during the commercial break, go listen to or go check out the trailer.
Now, what do you mean by finally? I'm kind of curious what you mean by finally.
Okay.
Oh, well, we'll get to that, Max. This was all wrapped up in lawsuits and corporate intrigue and everything like that. So, but
there's whole episodes where I rail against David Zaslav because they wanted to shelve this movie.
Okay, he deserves it. Then just go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and then later we're going to talk about. Well, I mean, Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday is coming up, and they're putting all the eggs in this basket, Brandon, and I'm starting to wonder if this is the right approach.
Well, I mean, I kind of got a thought on that, and we'll address that when we get to it.
I actually have a thought about that too, and also a comparison contrast with regards to Coyote versus Acme.
And I want to, if we can, I want to compare. None of you guys have seen Daredevil. Born Again season 2.
All I know is I don't want to give Wilson Fisk a hug.
No, don't. But anyway, so maybe we could do a compare and contrast between those. But Brandon, maybe you could lay this out for Max, even though he was here listening to those shows with talking about Coyote versus Acme, but apparently he slept through those.
Well, I mean, you got to remember.
I didn't know about all the intrigue.
Oh, yeah.
So and here's the thing: Max is trying to put together the show, and while he does jump in and talk with us every once in a while, he's much busier while we're doing these shows. He can't pay attention to us all the time.
He's doing stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
So several years back, David Zaslav went on a tirade and started shelving a bunch of movies rather than put them out because they figured the tax break would get them more money than the actual movie. We lost Batgirl. We lost Scoob, Haunted Holiday, which, okay.
Did they make that whole movie?
Oh, yeah. They're both completely finished. And the thing is that I get it. Batgirl was originally made for HBO Max, and then there was issues with it that they're like, nope, we're going to put it theatrical. At which point, when they looked at it, it looked like a CW show that should not be on a big screen because it was made for streaming.
Yeah.
But Scooby-Doo and Looney Tunes, I don't care who you are, those are evergreen properties. They're always going to make you money. So, but David Zaslav at the same time was also pulling a bunch of children's stuff off of the streaming service and it was vanishing. They were licensing a few things here and there, but for the most part, you couldn't get like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Or, like old Looney Tunes or anything like that. They've all started showing up on YouTube and other streaming services since, but there's a production company called Ketchup. And yes, like the condiment.
Ketchup.
And they distributed another 2D Looney Tunes movie called The Day the Earth Blew Up. And it's a Porky Pig and Daffy Duck movie. It's very much like Daffy Duck's Quacktastic Island and those kind of stuff that just a bunch of shorts put together. But this was it was fun, but it also proved the concept. So after denying people left and right who wanted to purchase the distribution rights for Coyote versus Acme, it's like they were only going to get $30 million back as far as the tax, but they wanted the full budget before they let you distribute it.
Huh.
Well, they came to terms with Ketchup. I think for $45 million, they would distribute it, they would market it. Warner's would still get credit, but as you see in the trailer, they get dug into quite a bit. And now, after all this time, and I mean, there's people online who just like railed against Warner's because this movie's not coming out. And I'm one of them. You go back, you listen. I was very angry about this not getting, and now I get to see it. And I don't think I've been this happy about an upcoming anything all year. It's like there's so many things that are coming out that I'm ready to see, like Masters of the Universe and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat 2 and the new Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I want to see all these things, but I don't think I'm nearly as happy for any of those as I am for Coyote versus Acme.
Which is interesting because, like I've said before, there's been an oversaturation of these superhero things. So it's kind of a refresher to have something that's just sort of like, nostalgia, but it's still kind of a good nostalgia because it's like you said, it's an evergreen property. And so this actually brings me to my comparison and contrast question. How come when a movie that's like Coyote versus Acme has all these bit characters coming in, how come we get more excited about that and it doesn't feel overstuffed as opposed to with superhero films, it feels overstuffed when we throw in a bunch of plethoras of like superheroes in like a Superman movie or a Batman movie? How come that feels overstuffed, but a cartoon movie doesn't feel overstuffed when it has auxiliary characters?
Okay, so I think one of the reasons why we're so more accepting of the animated films when they do that is because those characters, you can give them the tiniest little cameo and you get excited.
They don't need as much time to make an impact.
Marvel and DC and to a bigger extent, various TV streaming things, whenever they want to do a cameo with something, it's got to be huge. It's got to be impactful. And that, I think, comes down to the reason why we feel it's like, oh, man, that's too many characters. Why are we stuffing all these Justice Gang characters into the new Superman movie? It's because, you want to give them their moment, but it feels cheap.
Yeah.
The payoff is rarely there. I think, with James Gunn's Superman, I think they did a good balance. But I was worried about it all the way up to it, because how do you give those characters their due when this is the first movie in a franchise, and we've already seen what happens when you put too many characters in something?
Yeah. All right, but I don't think there's too many characters in Coyote versus Acme, and we're going to continue to unpack it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. We'll see who's laughing once the Velociraptor eggs hatch. The Geek Patrol is back.
How do you incubate those things? I mean,
the same way you incubate anything.
Okay, I don't know. No microwaves.
No microwaves.
Okay. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, well, we really hope you're going to go check out the Coyote versus Acme trailer.
We kind of hope you
and
already
it's finally
watched
coming out. Yeah, because that's what we've been talking about. Max made sort of a interesting observation. He was comparing, because there's a lot of characters in this show. And he was saying, well, how is it that we can get away with having a bunch of extra characters in something like Looney Tunes and all that, but when they start cramming all these extra characters in something like the Zack Snyder Justice League or some of the Marvel movies where they've just overdone it, it does get a little annoying, and it's not very impactful.
Right.
But maybe it's just simple as the fact that it's a kid's thing. Bugs Bunny has to do one thing, one gag, and it's
right.
And it's fun.
He
so
shows up very deep throat and gives them information on Acme.
But let's talk about the trailer because so what's that actor from Saturday Night Live that played MacGyver? Will Forte, MacGruber, and then John Cena. As far as I can tell, they're the two main.
Right. John Cena is legal counsel for the Acme Corporation, and Will Forte plays a lawyer who, like a personal injury lawyer who has more than once settled cases with Acme, and he's finally going to get a chance to take them to court for real.
Wait, Max, I'm kind of curious, though, with you, because you're the least invested in anything anytime a new movie comes out. So just if you're being brutally honest, what did you think of this, trailer?
I mean, it looks kind of fun and everything. That's kind of I think it's a little bit, I'm kind of fine with, it seems a little bit more necessary than a reboot of like another superhero thing. So that's kind of my opinion.
Okay. Well, it does feel different. I mean, it doesn't feel different. It's just Looney Tunes. We haven't had a good anything with them for
last year, the day the Earth blew up.
Okay, I never even heard of that.
You didn't watch it? Oh, it was good.
Where do you watch that?
HBO Max.
Okay. Well, this will be a theatrical release too.
Yeah, so was it.
And I wonder though, because it looks a little meta, because all these little side things, it looks like they're basically making fun of.
They are
Amazon and David Zaslav.
They're making fun of Zaslav and Warner Brothers and like the Warner Brothers logo, flips over to the Warner America, thing, and it does. It says down at the bottom, a wholly owned company of the Acme Corporation.
Yeah,
which basically means that they're there to try and give Acme good PR.
Well, this was what I was wondering is, that Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Was that the first kind of time we got something like that back in the 80s? Like,
I mean, we had a few things that had animated characters alongside live action characters, but nothing to the size of Roger Rabbit, which also did something that nobody else did. You've got Disney, Warner, all these various animated, Hanna-Barbera characters, all these different characters from different, properties that were licensed to be in there. Because Daffy Duck and Donald Duck are both in there in a scene.
Right.
It's like Betty Boop, like Mickey Mouse, and then, of course, they have their own, animated characters that are based off old Charleston characters and everything else along those lines. So but it set the standard.
Well, see,
and
that's
then we
why,
had Space Jam, which the first Space Jam is classic. I love it. Michael Jordan couldn't act his way out of a paper bag.
Yeah.
But we got Bill Murray. We got Wayne Knight. It just comes down to it, and it's a fun movie. And I think that they kind of fumbled a little bit when they were trying to do the Space Jam New Legacy or whatever it was that had LeBron. LeBron, he did his role perfectly. But I think in that situation, I was paying more attention to other Warner characters that are in the background because they've got characters across the gamut. And that's one of those things where it's like I spent more time trying to see what's in the background than I was actually watching the movie.
Well, the reason I asked about Roger Rabbit is because one of the things I liked about that is there were actual fully animated scenes where the animation there was more animation in that movie than what I'm seeing in this trailer.
Right.
Like this looks like it's live action and you have these characters laid on top of it or something. So I'm hoping we're going to get a little more animation. I don't know why.
No, I mean,
I hope we visit the Looney Tunes universe a little more.
Well, there is no Looney Tunes universe. The Looney Tunes universe itself is, truly a behind the scenes kind of thing. We saw it in Back in Action. We saw it, yeah.
Maybe that's what I like about it. This doesn't feel like a cinematic universe because it's like, okay, like you said, like I like the fact that like the Muppets, for example, because it's like there's scenes behind. It's like kind of like we're getting a peek behind the scenes and everything. Like it's sort of breaking the fourth wall, and so maybe that's what I appreciate about their quote unquote universe is that it's not a universe. It's just a cavalcade of characters that just sort of exist, and we're getting a peek into them.
Okay, so you like that Bugs Bunny and everybody's coming into our world, basically?
No, there are.
No, I'm saying visually. Well, I'm mostly just talking about the visual.
Well, visually, so, yeah. Okay, but when it comes down to it, you think about the entire setup in Looney Tunes Back in Action. They're actors. They work in a studio. And it was the same with Roger Rabbit. While Toon World existed, Roger and all them, they were there filming scenes like right at the beginning. And of course it's all screwed up because Roger's depressed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also because we're not reinventing the wheel with each new iteration and everything. Like Bugs Bunny gets to be ever is his design and everything. Like all these characters are just as they were and everything, and we're just sort of honoring the legacy as opposed to needing to make a new, fresh look on Batman, which isn't really a fresh look because nothing's new under the sun.
I mean, you make a dang good point on that one. It really is the fact. I mean, because they talked about this, is that when they were making this movie, they tried to make it very classic, not modern day Looney Tunes, but classic Looney Tunes.
Right.
Which is why the piano that falls on Will Forte's car is cell shaded. It's
what?
It's cell shaded. It's old school animation as opposed to
animation cells.
We took regular animation, modern day animation, and then like melded it in through CGI.
I mean, we'll definitely check it out. And I mean, for me, growing up, Looney Tunes was always the best part of Saturday morning. Even with Scooby Doo and all the other. I'm sorry, you can't beat Looney Tunes. So, when we come back, though, we're going to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I do have one last question about Coyote versus Acme.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Anyhow, you'll have to wait. The kids are busy right now.
Oh, is the organ harvesting clown here?
Nah, Rusty comes on Tuesdays now.
I'm looking forward to seeing him in Coyote versus Acme.
Is he going to be there? Okay.
God.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, please go check out the trailer for Coyote versus Acme coming up. Wait, when's the release date, Brandon?
It's at the end of the trailer.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even pay attention.
I want to say it's late August.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It is in August. So, and then in a minute, we're going to talk about Avengers Doomsday and kind of where Marvel's going right now. But I do have one question, and I don't know if this is a philosophical question.
Probably.
But okay, for my money, if you just forget the movie here, I'm just talking about the Roadrunner versus the Coyote.
Okay.
Is the Roadrunner actually the villain in that cartoon? Because I think you could make a case either way.
You can't fault him for being a predator.
Yeah, I mean, he's acting in his own nature.
I mean, the coyote he's hungry.
Right.
It's the circle.
Is he hungry or is he just doing this as a conquest?
It's the circle of life. There's been plenty of times where we have seen him on rocket skates with a knife and fork and a bib basically around his neck as he is going to try and eat the Roadrunner.
Okay, maybe the only case that I can make is that maybe he just needs to expand his territory that he goes to finding his food.
Honestly, dude, just you can make it to a courtroom, you can make it to a cafe.
Yeah.
It's a lot safer, and
I just think, though, I don't know. I mean, to me, he's going above and beyond as a predator.
And
he's
honestly,
trying to, get technological.
Well, he's hungry.
He wants to win.
He's like a cubby that's been cursed for 100 years.
Right.
But anyway, you think of it this way: with as much money as he has spent with the Acme Company, he could have gone to one of those really exotic food restaurants that they have in Europe and probably gotten Roadrunner.
Maybe he just appreciates the thrill of the chase.
Yeah, I don't know. Or is he trying to lose? Does he maybe secretly like the Roadrunner?
It's kind of like this thing I've learned in psychology and everything, where people learn to associate with their ill experiences and everything. So maybe Coyote Ugly's just caught in Wile E. Coyote's just caught in a vicious cycle.
Okay.
I don't know. Coyote Ugly's pretty much caught in a vicious cycle too. They opened those bars and they got shut down.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Long
yeah,
time
I don't
ago.
know about that. Anyway,
that was 90s stuff, man.
I just wonder about this because I as I watch it, I'm like, okay, well, you're kind of rooting for the Coyote. He never wins, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, we were kids. We rooted for the violence.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, anyway, that was just a thought. But Brandon,
yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Marvel now. Marvel Avengers Doomsday.
Yep.
For as much hype as we're getting, we still haven't seen a whole lot.
Oh,
of
dude,
this.
they dropped a sizzle reel at CinemaCon, and they've been describing it, and it sounds amazing.
Right.
I don't know if
how long is a sizzle reel? You're talking 30 seconds.
A sizzle reel can go anywhere from 30 seconds to 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
And afterwards, it's a featurette.
Yeah, but has it been released?
No. CinemaCon does not release anything to the public. If it leaks, it leaks. But for the most part, if they create something specifically for CinemaCon, you won't see it unless you're at CinemaCon.
Okay.
Now, that's not to say that those same things won't release a trailer, because the Clayface trailer was originally dropped at CinemaCon, but there was also like 15 minutes of footage from Clayface's.
I do love that idea of making Clayface sort of horror-y. That's just
Dude,
like a perfect pitch.
Have you seen that trailer?
I haven't yet.
I haven't seen that trailer.
Oh, my God.
All right, well, let's watch it. I'll watch it at the break. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Dude.
is Clayface, not to change the subject, is Clayface going to have Batman, or is it strictly going to be him?
No, but if you look at that logo, you can tell that they are definitely, with it being in the DCU and not part of the Matt Reeves universe, they're still using that red scratchy logo for Clayface that they used with, the Batman.
Oh,
I can definitely see Clayface's backstory, even to just it kind of lends itself to that sort of old style '80s body horror and everything.
The storyline sounds very much like what would happen if David Cronenberg made Darkman.
All right. Well, we'll do. Yeah, we'll have to unpack. I'll watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, but yeah.
But Brandon, okay. So getting back to Doomsday, here's my thing. Okay, Endgame is an unqualified success.
Yes.
Infinity War and Endgame, there was a few little things in there. Maybe you didn't like the Hulk wearing glasses and whatever, but for the most part, in terms of they stuck the landing.
They totally
stuck the landing. Most people were fairly satisfied with how it ended, but how do you ever recreate that? The thing is, that was a 10-year buildup.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about off the air was the fact that, for example,
Danhausen has my phone.
The way they built that whole Infinity Stone saga was very subtly, for example, Captain America, the first Captain America movie. It's a movie about him and the Red Skull, but then they drop in the Tesseract, and then all the movies dropped in little elements, and then it all paid off. And well, I feel like they're doing this in reverse. It's like they're just dropping the whole universe ending, whatever.
Well,
here.
I mean,
I don't know. It seems a little much. How many characters have we even gotten this?
Well, that's the thing is, I don't think that's the route they're actually going with it.
Okay, what is the route you think they're doing?
Well, first of all, I think that they've overcorrected.
What do you mean by that?
All right, so you know how Marvel was heading on its way, and there's a lot of people who after Endgame they were like, all right, it's not as important anymore to go with anything else. They saw No Way Home, they Black Panther 2, Shang-Chi, and they were like, man, these aren't as good as and it's like they don't seem to realize that you've got to build your universe back up.
You can't compare.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're thinking about it the wrong way and everything. Because I think what makes comic books sort of fun is that they can be self-contained and episodic. I don't like the idea of it needs. I think storytelling can come off as insincere, and I think it can be kind of insincere when you're just using a movie as a means of dropping Easter eggs for a bigger continuity and everything.
Oh, I completely agree with you. But with everything going the direction it was, and so many people just complaining, and the internet being more vocal than normal, I gave you this analogy once before. I'm going to do it again. You're driving down the road. You're a little tired. You start to weave into oncoming traffic. You realize there's a truck coming at you, so you cut back into your lane really quick. But then you end up in a ditch and hit a tree. So you think Marvel's I think they're overcorrecting. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, because the thing is, Daredevil.
The thing is in
great.
Doomsday.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So they can do good things.
Right.
I guess we're going to see what they do, and we'll continue to talk about it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
I work with a bunch of nerds.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we were talking earlier, we were talking earlier about Coyote versus Acme, and the trailer's out and what our thoughts were. And,
right.
I mean, we'll all watch the movie, so who are we kidding? And it'll probably make $1 billion because I mean, look at these animated movies like the Mario Brothers movie. Kids movies that you can take your kids to that are intergenerational. I think they're going to make money, man.
Well, I also think that the deep down audiences are craving whimsy.
Yeah,
and
we need whimsy.
Our world is way too serious right now.
Yeah,
and speaking of whimsy, let's go to talk about violence.
Yeah, but then before the break we were talking about the Avengers Doomsday.
Right.
We keep hearing these things like you said at CinemaCon. There was some sort of bigger trailer that came out that none of us have seen yet, and I'm stunned that it hasn't been leaked anywhere.
Well, CinemaCon is very they're very security conscious.
Okay, so they keep you really.
Yeah, it's not like Comic-Con where you can go in and like film everything with your GoPro.
Yeah,
they're very much like no filming in here, blah blah blah. And, it's like and then you'll have some places like you can film within this panel, or you can film in this location, but you can't film in that location.
Well, here's my thing.
And if they catch you with it, not only do they take your phone,
Yeah.
And delete your video, but then they have you escorted out. You do not get a refund. You do not pass go. You go straight to jail.
Oh, you're probably, and you're probably marked where you're never going there again.
Right.
And a lot of these access people, they wouldn't want that, so they're not going to fool around. But I do have a question, though, because this goes back to, I don't know how far we're going back, but, the big moment that for this movie was supposed to be when they were at that panel at Comic-Con. And all the guys are wearing their Dr. Doom masks, and then one of them pulls it off, and it's Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
I'm sorry, that moment did nothing for me.
No.
Did you?
No.
Because he had this look like, I'm like, okay, for one thing, I mean, no offense, he didn't look like he cared very much.
It was very much a.
It
I'm
looked
here
very posed.
Yeah, it's like
stage.
So in that whole Comic-Con moment, it was very much a I'm here for the paycheck.
That's what it looked like.
But if you watch, it's like when they did that little countdown, and like every hour they were passing by a chair that had a different name on it.
Yeah.
And then later on when they put the whole thing together, where you're just like, it's like it's telling you all the names that were set up for Doomsday, and then you get to Robert Downey Jr. at the end, he seemed more into it. But I think it's by that point he actually was like, okay, we've got this going on. We have a full script. We're doing this. We got this. And he seemed, more involved, more excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he goes, yeah, I'll do it, but it's paycheck.
He's making a lot of money on this. I mean, they're paying him a lot.
That, again, goes back to my point that I made earlier in the episode, is the idea is you can detect insincerity. And I think there's a difference between actors. I'm not saying actors are, I think there is a difference when an actor really isn't passionate and invested, but I think Robert Downey Jr. at this point is just like, I don't really care. And I'm about just doing more Marvel stuff just because it makes money.
Yeah.
I look at projects like by Villanueva or the recent Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, and everybody seemed like they were invested in it.
Oh.
Like they got the passion out of the actors and everything, and that's palpable.
Everybody bought in.
We never really went and back and discussed that autopsy, of Frankenstein, behind the scenes video. But everybody who talked about it, it's like when Oscar Isaac is talking, or Jacob Elordi and all that, they're like, well, I was a little, and then, when they sat down and talked to Del Toro and he starts, it's like immediately it becomes contagious.
Yeah.
And everybody who he approached about being in the movie, once he laid out what they wanted, everybody was like, I have to be a part of this.
You know what he said, Max, in that special feature that I watched that made an impact on me? He said, I sit down with people and I let them talk, and then I talk, and then we have a conversation.
Right.
He's not like sitting him down and going, okay, here's the vision. This is what you're going to do with, he's very collaborative, but I'm like, that's not the worst way to be. I mean, that seems like a really good approach.
I genuinely think that that's the perfect way to do anything.
Yeah.
If you're going to continue this Marvel stuff, if you're not ready to put the nail in the coffin and everything with Marvel for now, do that. Like, have a collaboration and everything. Because imagine the vision of a Dr. Doom if Robert Downey Jr. genuinely wanted to do it his way as opposed to the way that the corporation wanted it to do.
Well, Brandon, here's the thing. Okay, Dr. Doom, I know he's a very big character, but I still wonder if the mainstream people even understand much about him. Because,
because
sometimes he's actually good, right? Like sometimes he genuinely wants to help his countrymen.
Yeah,
right?
he does. He is a extremely complex character. He's a scientist, but he's also a wizard. And it's like there's magic involved, but there's technology, and he wants to help his country. But I think one of the biggest things that I've ever seen that really kind of drove it home to me how complicated Doom is that after 9/11 there was a Spider-Man issue, and there's a moment where Doom and Magneto and I can't remember who the third one was, but they're villains,
right?
And you can tell that they are upset about this happening.
Oh, right. That was an interesting.
It's
era
also
in comic
it's
books.
also that moment where you saw Captain America cry, and you're just like, okay, I can't keep this comic book in here, or else it's going to get wet because the tears are streaming because your own patriotism's coming out.
Yeah.
But it's he is a very complex character, and I mean I would need an entire episode to really delve into it. He's more than just Reed Richards' foe.
Well, see, that's the thing. Okay. That's why I feel like a Doctor Doom movie with a few other characters is the way to go to build this universe. But they're just, They're just going for it right now with all the. I feel like there's too many people in this movie. That's just my fear.
One of the things that happened during with like the Secret Wars and the Beyonder and all that stuff was that the worlds had to fight, the contest of champions and everything else. And based on some of the descriptions, I think that's what's going on in this movie, is that he takes over the Council of Kangs we saw at the end of Ant-Man Quantumania.
I didn't even know that was still going to be a thing.
No, because he has to wipe those guys out because he's been watching the multiverse.
Is this going to be one movie? This sounds like they need at least like 2 or 3 movies to do
this movie in itself is going to be a 3-hour movie that sets up the next Avengers movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, because you can't settle all this now. But
I still think, though, ladies and gentlemen, that Marvel needs an epic hack.
Okay. All right. Well, on that
Why not?
note,
what do you mean? They keep throwing up as it is.
All right. Let's end the show. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Maximilian.
And I am Brandon Olmstead, hoping you follow us down that hole into the bottom of the canyon with Wile E. Coyote.